Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And a good morning to you. It is time for Coffee Ann on ON AM and FM. Wednesday morning, it's May 24th. My name is Joe Callahan. Thanks for joining us this morning. Across the table from me, Tim Draper from Navigant Credit Union.
Good morning, Joe. I'm back.
Good morning, Tim. Nice to have you back as well. And fresh from Gillette Stadium, Taylor Swift. Yes. Melissa Smith.
Yes, it's taken me 3 days to recover. Not really.
I was thinking it was going to take you 3 days to get out of the parking lot.
It felt like it. I did say I should have probably just parked a camper and vacation in the area. Don't they have a campground? Normandy is nearby, right? Probably should have just done that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Richards is here as well. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning. How are you, Melissa? How are you there, Tim?
Morning, Dave.
John
Joe,
Ward,
I've seen you already.
Yes, I know. We've already said good morning. We've already grumbled at each other earlier. John Ward will not be with us for a few weeks. Medical situation. As we all know, John had heart surgery. He's got to go through rehab kind of thing.
I think that's pretty standard for heart patients.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He's going to take most of the summer off.
Dastardly rehab, they'll schedule it during our time. Our quality time with John.
I can't believe
I don't know
it.
why they scheduled it for this time.
I know. That's where they could fit him in.
Try to get a dispensation after this.
Anyway, so we'll see John probably in August. We'll welcome him back with open hearts then. Get it? Pretty good, huh?
You were talking about who's going to be filling in his spot, and I'm just thinking in my head, maybe we should audition for a couple of weeks. Have some listeners call in, and then maybe whoever in the first 4 weeks is voted
Dave's
in.
like, oh no, God, no.
Then we have 2 months of.
You mean I can audition?
You can audition. Maybe we'll let you.
We'll see how you do.
Okay, you're the first one. This is it.
Today's your first test.
This is it. All right.
Okay.
Before we get to Dave's audition, Melissa, it's time for your
But
first
I didn't
message
study.
for the St. Antoine
I
communities.
know. So for those of you that don't know a lot about St. Antoine Community, we are a large long-term care campus located in North Smithfield and on the line of Blackstone, Mass. in Woonsocket. And on our property, we offer an expansive continuum of services that range from assisted living to short and long-term skilled care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab center, private hospice suite, as well as a large secured memory care unit. And the two buildings that are on our property are the Villa at St. Antoine, which is our 76-apartment assisted living facility, and the Residence at St. Antoine, which is our 180-bed short and long-term skilled care facility. So if you're presently at a crossroads with your loved one and trying to determine when is the right time to seek more help and support, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk you through your options. You can reach me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net.
All right. Well, Melissa's the only Coffee Ann panelist that went to the Taylor Swift show over the weekend. So what day did you go on?
We were on Sunday.
Sunday. So you missed the rains.
We missed the rain. We knew plenty of people that were there for the rain.
Yeah. But
Rain
you
or
were not
shine,
there.
didn't matter. The feedback was all consistent. Everyone had a great time.
Excellent. And you went with your daughters and your sister, and everybody
Correct.
just absolutely thrilled?
Correct.
Okay.
It was fantastic. It was 3.5 hours straight of just Taylor.
That's
in my head. I
that's
thought
great
it was
performer.
3.5 hours plus 2 opening acts, but it was not. It
wow.
was 2 opening acts and then Taylor for 3.5 hours. So even as a very active individual, I still struggled with standing,
energy.
dancing, and singing for 3.5 hours. And as we crept past 10:30, 11:30, I'm like, you're joking. No, she did not stop. There wasn't even an intermission.
Foxborough must not have a curfew.
Well,
Mansfield does. But so how could you hear her singing over the screaming children?
I thought you were going to say, do I still hear her singing days later? Because I think what is probably the most phenomenal thing as a fan when you're sitting there in that large of an arena is how everyone, I mean, maybe minus 10% of the population that are parents that are just sort of there with their kids, but know every single word to every single song. I mean, she sang over 40, 45 songs.
Yes.
So there was no screaming. They were
It
singing.
was pure singing.
Okay.
I mean, even if she stopped for a second, they carried in her absence. I looked at my daughter, I think, like every single song, like, you're kidding me. You know every word. I mean, I could pretend. I like, just went along with it a little bit in some spots, but that's a pretty impressive thing that there's that much of a following and loyalty. And I watched very little girls, like 5-6-year-old little girls
And they know it?
knew every song from her first album straight through to her current. And I mean, it was just, the people watching was phenomenal.
Everybody all dressed up in their sparkly dresses.
I have to say, and hopefully it's appropriate on the air, I'm not sure. But
Get ready with a
Dave will
guild
tell you.
in college, there's this reference term of, the walk of shame the next
Yes.
morning.
Yes.
So 12 o'clock hits, everyone's walking, stumbling out of the stadium to their parking lots. And there's some girls that tried to wear very high heels, fancy boots, whatever. I mean, my sister and I were in our Brooks, which is like a running sneaker. We were smart about this. We knew it was going to be hard to wear any shoes.
Yeah.
But the sequins dresses and a lot of people had hair pieces in, like just big fancy tailor curly hair wigs, whatever. You name it, it was there. And walking out of the stadium, like one by one, people are stripping off their hair. The heels are coming off. Like it was hysterical. And
So instead of beer cans after the game that the staff has to clean
it was
up
a
the
hot
hair
mess
pieces.
walking out of there, and you just saw
that's
this
funny.
trail of glitter and pom poms and boas, and it was just like as you're walking to the lots, it just looked like the end of a frat party. It was pretty funny.
Okay.
Not that I ever went to one.
No,
Yeah,
not
sure.
you. Now, how did you deal with the traffic getting to the show and getting out as well?
Great. Getting
Yeah?
there, not an issue. I had strategically thought through the fact that my girls had school the next morning. Okay, we need to go one south. Let's park across the street from the stadium, maybe a little bit down Route 1. So if you're familiar with Rodman trucking area,
Yep.
not too far up from Lafayette House, I was like, okay, that's going to be our lot. That's going to be the one. It still didn't work out. I mean,
Best
it
laid
worked
plans,
out from the
know.
standpoint of, yes, we were at least heading one and we didn't have to go up Route 1. But it didn't matter where you parked. It really didn't matter. It boiled down to you just were gridlocked for a solid hour. There's always going to be an accident. There's always going to be something. So getting in, no issue. Getting out, I got home 2 o'clock.
Oh,
Wow.
So
that is dedicated mom right there.
Kids go to school the
which is
next
hard.
day?
They did. We all went in a little late, which was a treat.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there were no tests first thing in the morning. There were in the afternoon, and,
Yeah.
and they did okay. But there was a lacrosse game for my daughter that night, and that was rough watching.
Ooh, she
She
must be-
powered through, but that night was just... we were all a little bit disastrous.
Going to bed at 8
So.
at night.
Yes,
7:30.
it's tough.
Did they get any Taylor Swift merchandise, any T-shirts
They
or
did.
things like that?
They did.
Wear
They
it to
got their
school the next
shirts.
day?
Which is like the worst part because here
Why?
I am as a mom. I hate even missing school or writing. It's
Yeah.
not something we allow in our house. Really, we power through for the most part. So this was a treat. So I write a note. These kids have mom's permission to arrive late due to personal conflict. I hand them the notes in the car.
wearing the Taylor
right.
Swift
I
shirts?
hand the notes to them in the car, and I look behind me. I'm like, oh my god, you got to be kidding me.
They're wearing them.
There's nothing more obvious than, where
is
they
where I
were
was.
and why they're late, but it's fine. I'm sure that the school, I'm sure there were plenty of kids pulling in late.
All right.
So.
And were you happy with the you didn't pay a lot of money? Well, it is a lot of money, but it
still-
wasn't
It's
the
not
ridiculous. It's not
$21,000.
$21,000 that you paid for
Paid
tickets.
face value.
You paid
Yeah,
face value
I
for the
did.
tickets, and it was a 3.5-hour show plus the 2 opening acts. So do you feel you got your money's worth at the show?
Oh, yeah.
You did. Okay, good.
I paid about the same amount, believe it or not, in the high 300s 5 years ago for the Reputation tour. Those are that concert and this were my only two that I've attended with my daughters. And I said back then I would pay up to $500. I think I said that on the air. And everyone was like, "You're crazy," and I was like, "No, you don't understand. It's that phenomenal of a experience." And I did compare it to Six Flags versus Disney. It's that. Yes, it is a concert, and everyone thinks it's probably same level as other concerts you've been to. It really isn't. It really is next level. And
More like a Broadway show, would you compare it to?
the sets, the costumes beyond.
So,
and
yeah.
just even I mentioned the talent of, and a lot of people don't think she can sing. She's not the best singer in the world. She's not Adele. She's not Celine Dion. She's nothing. I get that. But she writes her own stuff. She has the ability to pivot like on the fly. Her piano wasn't working because obviously it was out in the pouring rain Saturday night. So she just was like, this is crazy. She stopped. She just picked up her guitar and went into a different acoustic sound, changed the tone of the direction of the song or the direction of the tone and everything. And I just feel like that's talent. You've written everything. You can perform everything. You can sing a, phone book.
Does she
and
do any cover songs?
She did not. She has, how many of
Just
her
all
own
herself.
albums?
Wow.
But she
Okay.
does 2 surprise songs every concert. That's what kind of makes it unique and a draw. So we had 2 songs that are not top 10s that of course everyone still knew anyways, that were a surprise, but it was all acoustic, and that's my favorite part of any show anyways. So
All right.
yeah.
Was this your daughter's first concert experience?
No.
Oh, okay.
My youngest first concert experience was the Reputation tour, and I did regret taking her at that age.
Too young.
She was 8, and it was maybe an hour into the show, and she
I wanna go
was
home?
tired. It overstimulated her, to be honest. She just has always been that kid. You know, you're going on vacation, and she's the kid in the back seat with a stomach ache because she doesn't know what to expect. So that was our struggle. This time she rallied. She was much better, but I was concerned for all those littles around us because I thought, oh, I was in your shoes, and I pushed thinking it was a good idea and regretted it. So I wonder what they think if they spent a lot
Was
of money.
it worth it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, glad you had a good time.
Thanks.
I'm glad it went
I think
very
we can
well.
stop talking about T-Swizzle officially now. This
I
has been
don't
going
know.
on
This
since
is-
December. I feel
It
really
has.
bad
This
for the
has been
audience.
an epic journey.
You didn't buy the rainwater that was for sale online,
Oh,
did you?
Is that a real thing?
That
That's
was
gotta be a joke.
no, it was a real thing.
That's gotta be a joke.
Someone was really trying to sell it, and they took it down offline. They said this is just. They're getting flamed for quite a bit.
Don't you think that's the kind of thing that sits, like if my kids bought that, which they would never be allowed to, would sit on their like nightstand
Yeah.
until they're
Until it
out of college, moving out for the
evaporated.
first time, it's covered in dust, and then they'd be like, what, like,
Why do I
what
have
was
this?
that
I'll
from?
throw this away.
Yeah, it's like when you bring sand back from a beach. You keep it
Right.
for so long, and then you're like,
Why do I still have this?
why do I still have this? How often do you pour it in your hand and touch it? You know, and it doesn't, it's
All right.
not the same.
All right. Well,
That's
very good,
crazy.
Melissa. No, we need to get
Spoken
the.
like a mom.
I'd rather
Yep.
just take a picture of the concert in the rain and frame it.
There were a lot of
and
those,
have,
and that was
you know,
pretty impressive. Some of those pictures.
Yeah.
With the pouring
boring.
rain.
Oh, in the
pouring
rain.
rain.
Yeah. All right. Now we need to get the. We're going to switch gears here, and we're going to get Dave's opinion on this because I want Melissa to hear it. Town and Country Magazine did a poll or a survey of some sort, and they concluded that the town of Jamestown is the most beautiful town in Rhode Island
Oh,
because it's got a down-to-earth feel. It has beautiful views in Narragansett Bay and got that small community atmosphere. Dave's got a few opinions on this. So go ahead, Dave.
Well, unfortunately, I know how these things come about. All these surveys and things that you see, they end up on our newswire. I don't know even know why, but they do. And generally speaking, they're people with computers who have never gone to the places that they're talking about. But they go to Google Analytics and Google in general. They get reports on the most searched this and the most searched that, and they make up a survey and use by what people searched for as being a vote for the place. So we know that the thing is, right off the bat, it's in among those that are nothing but junk and coffee table conversation or coffee and conversation or that sort of thing. So I don't take it really seriously because let's face it, have they come to North Smithfield?
I don't know.
You know, Woonsocket has charm of a different type. But Cumberland or Smith, if you go up near the Maury Tower and you take a look out, if you're not impressed, my goodness. I mean, the Blackstone Valley's got a lot to offer, and of course, they're always going to go with some shore town now near
it's the ocean.
down near
Shore
the
town,
ocean.
so I
I
was
get
gonna say,
that.
you can't see the ocean from Maury
and
Tower.
you know,
so biased.
when I want to get away from it all, I go down to the ocean because I spent a lot of my youth down there. It brings back great memories. I do love the ocean, and I respect Narragansett Bay. I get it, but you're talking about a town that is just like drop dead lucky. Give me a break. 5,520 people live there. That's it. So they say, oh, it's beautiful, little town, stuff like that. Right. But 27,000 people every day go to Jamestown and leave it immediately.
our way to
either
Newport.
over the Newport
Wow.
Bridge or over the Jamestown
No, really,
Bridge.
going the
They
other way.
don't stay. So tell me how wonderful it really is.
Well, it's got a great road system.
wow.
Yes. Got a nice
Very
bridge.
passionate
bridges.
about this topic.
All
It's
right.
really, yeah.
I know we wanted to get to that.
You wanted to see me take off. I
Oh,
told
He
you
didn't
earlier.
compare
I
his
said,
statistics at
look
all,
at
did
this
you? I mean,
trumped up
he
survey.
put that out there. 27,000 people.
Well, it's true. That's the car count over the Newport Bridge. So you know that 27,000 people go to Jamestown every day and immediately leave. And yet it's the most beautiful place in Rhode Island.
That is a great way to
Give
look
me
at
a
it. I've never really thought of it that way, but that is true.
All right.
27,000 people come and go every day in Jamestown.
Melissa's got to be on her way, so we're gonna have her do her second spot here. So time for a second commercial, Melissa, from the St. Antoine Communities, and then we'll shuttle you
I
along.
thought we were going to have like a little weigh-in on what is your favorite town in
Well,
Rhode
that'd be great,
Island.
but we're concerned about getting you
Okay,
on.
you're right. I do. I have to focus. Because unfortunately, I need to leave early today. So I know, focus, Melissa. So we have our annual golf tournament actually coming up on the 21st of August. That is why I'm leaving, actually. I'm going to a planning meeting for it. And ironically, it's at Kirkbrake Country Club, which is what our topic of discussion will be this morning.
At least it's not in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think it's a little early to, predict whether or not we're going to have to change venues or push back the date. I have a feeling they're just incredible when it comes to event planning. I think they're going to make it happen in some way, shape, or form. Golfing takes place outside, so the only thing we have to worry about is food and bathroom accommodations. So we'll figure the rest out.
Too, so.
Exactly. And our executive director lives down the
caterer
street,
could be
so worst
hired.
case, we can just shimmy on down there to his house if we needed to. Don't take me literal on that. But so anyways, so I just always like to open up the opportunity to listeners. If you are a local business owner or you're just, a golf enthusiast and you want to participate in this event, or you'd love to donate to this event or sponsor this event, I usually do a huge spread of silent auction items, and I love doing especially a local giveaway. So if there's some local businesses that want to donate, gift certificates to your restaurant so we can give you a little attention and bring in some extra customers, feel free to reach out to me, and I will hook you up with the proper steps to make that happen. So you can reach me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net.
All right, Melissa, thank you very much. Well, good luck with the meeting, and thanks for stopping
you.
by. And we'll see you next.
We'll see you next
dedication.
week.
That's dedication. She's double booked and she still comes to see us.
I
I
know.
know, that
I
is
toyed with
dedication.
canceling, and I said, I can't do that. Last week
I
I
would have
felt
felt
so
really
bad.
guilty. I would have come here and none of my cohorts were here. And everything.
Like we
Oh,
felt
what did I
last week when you
do?
skipped out on us last
Well,
minute.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I know. I had a.
But we had a great
Forgot
time
about
actually in the end. I quite enjoyed my conversation with Paulette and Nancy. We had
It
like
was
a
all
lovely.
female coffee, and except for me.
And Joe did well. He stood his own. He did.
well. Thank
We
you
didn't
very much.
attack too much, but it was a nice conversation.
All right, it went very well. All right, more coffee ads coming up. We got a message to get to. Melissa, have a great week. We'll see you
Thanks,
next
guys.
Wednesday.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON, AM, and FM.
All right, it's Coffee In on ONA and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Dave Richards. And Melissa Smith had to go. John Ward is out for a few weeks. And we had a note that was called in yesterday, and then we had a follow-up to it. This is about vacancies at DHS. And there's 116 DCYF, 118, I should say, vacancies at DCYF. And a follow-up to that from yesterday is most people who are qualified and have been offered positions are being denied. There's just too much stress in the job. Again, need funds and gifted people to address this problem. And Paula says, I swear the average American family are naive to this growing issue. Probably is. They probably are, because it doesn't affect them at this point, but it affects a lot of families. And he's wondering, originally, can Dan McKee throw money at this and make the problem
You can
go
throw money
away?
at anything, but the problem is if you don't have the qualified people to take the jobs, what do you do? That's the
Yeah.
problem. You don't have enough
a
people
bear.
taking.
Executives everywhere are having a hard time getting qualified people.
Right. It's crazy.
And it's even worse for a governor, because now you have to vet them, and then you have to push them through the Senate
right.
on top of all of this. Really. So hurry up. And like the Senate's behind on their work. So hurry up, get it in there. Rich Sharris was confirmed yesterday. Mm-hmm. But Rich Sharris' old job, he's got to put somebody in there. So it didn't really solve. It solved a problem, but created another problem. Mm-hmm. It's not easy.
Right.
No,
It's
it isn't.
the big shuffle.
I mean, look at what we go through just to get coffee and panelists.
I know.
With them before they get on.
It's a struggle, let me tell you.
The struggle is real. First world problem.
I mean, when you're calling me in on the show,
It's a struggle.
Wow, that's cold. That is cold.
All right, front page story in today's call, and congratulations to Woonsocket Fire Deputy Chief Robert Cahill. He was appointed the chief of the Woonsocket
great.
Fire Department, so good for him. He's spent his entire career here in Woonsocket. He's a
Woonsocket
Woonsocket native, so being a firefighter, like being a police officer, is really a calling. No one says, "Well, I think I'll give it a try."
Right.
No, not really.
Right.
you really want to be a firefighter.
I mean, it seems to me that the city of Woonsocket's fire department has been in pretty good shape. Paul did a great job when he was there. So
he was able to get the infrastructure, the rolling stock and things like that on a schedule replacement. And he did things that other chiefs didn't do before. I don't know if they wouldn't have done it, but they didn't do it before. And actually, you can be out there on Park Avenue and see the Oakland Mapleville fire truck go by. It's not Oakland Mapleville, it's us. And to save money, he didn't put the new letter. He didn't change the name to Woonsocket.
Right, equipment is
just to
equipment.
save money.
Right.
Now, we bought this used,
Yep.
and we're using it, and it's good. But talk about thrifty,
yeah.
right? But the facts is that the right name of the community on the side of the truck doesn't put out fires or rescue people or anything else. Like he got down to what was important,
Right.
and
And I'm also
Chief Cahill wants to do the same.
right. And I'm also a proponent of when you have something that's working and it's working well.
Stick with it. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to go outside. And a lot of times finding a homegrown candidate is actually the best choice because they understand the needs of the community, right? So you put them in a spot where they can affect some change of their own. It's a different
But
different view.
isn't it law that you have to open it up to?
I think you have to open it up to everyone.
Nationwide?
You have to open it up nationwide.
Yeah.
But you don't have to select anybody
Well, no.
nationwide. You can select anybody you want. So, I mean, that's my understanding. But if you can, again, police, fire, if you can find somebody who's from the community to lead the effort, that's great. Now, if there's a problem in an area, if it's broken, then maybe you do want some outside help to come in and try and make some change and right the ship.
But it's a pretty
But
well-run machine.
it's a well-run machine, and I guess Deputy Chief Cahill's been doing it for a while now, right? And then plus he was captain before that, so it's great that the men will respect him. I'm sure they know who's coming up. So.
Yep.
And the ladies too.
Ladies too. Yep. Sorry, ladies too. Absolutely.
All right. So best of luck to Robert Cahill as he takes over the chief of the Woonsocket Fire Department. That's fantastic for him. I heard about this murder that took place down in Portsmouth. I'm like, well, it's so far away, and okay, it's a murder. Well, that's too bad. And until I get into the details,
That's right.
And I'm like,
We didn't
I'm like,
actually even
I'm like,
put it
what?
in our newscast at first because, that's way down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now the man allegedly struck his landlord in the head with an axe.
Right.
Wow. And then hit his body. Like it's the movies.
Right. But then he confessed to it.
Oh, did he? I didn't hear that part.
My understanding is the police went back there
Yeah.
on a tip from somebody, and then I think the story
But
said last
the
night that
landlord was evicting him.
the landlord they were
He was
evicting
starting
that
the
day,
eviction
starting
proceedings.
the process. Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And so, motive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's right there.
I mean, like I said, I think he actually confessed to it.
Wow.
Maybe
I think
after
that's what I
they
heard last
confronted
night.
him with the evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
I think so.
Like with your fingerprints on the axe and
Well, I mean, if you put the body in the woods,
Yeah.
how do you know it's there unless somebody tells you that it's there? I mean, you could search, but I don't think there
well,
was
someone
a
could
search.
stumble upon it.
Yeah, I don't know. Depends on where you put it.
Wooded area wrapped in a tarp.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't go poking around tarps a lot when I walk through the woods.
Well, maybe you should.
Yeah, maybe I should. I don't go walking around the woods much.
See- okay,
You know, ticks and all.
but that's just a crazy story there down there in Portsmouth that they have to deal with down there. Okay, and the other crazy story is in Coventry, a bunch of RV
my.
campers
Yeah. in a
started
Home
hanging
Depot
out in the
parking
Home
lot?
Depot parking lot and made it basically an encampment for a while. Yeah, come on down, everything's fine. Well, they got sick of it. Hey, get out.
Now, I think truckers can do that on Walmart, can't they? Can't you
Walmart
park
says
a
you
big
can.
truck overnight
people,
once.
Once, I think.
RV people can do it at Walmart
Okay.
And, what,
Yeah.
for one night?
with a camper. I don't know about the one night.
What do you
They're-
do? What do
the
you do?
section of their parking lot that is furthest away from the store, they allow overnight parking there for campers and RVs. They don't allow you to come out and pitch a tent or anything.
No,
if you
no, it's
got
RVs.
If you got a self-contained vehicle in the parking lot, you can stay there. Now, I just don't know if there's any other strings attached, but there's no services.
Well, right.
So you got to bring your own water and
So
that.
there's
And get rid of it.
It was a dozen RV campers that are at this Home Depot that have to be out by today.
So
And the Rhode Island Department of Housing is reaching out to those who need help with relocation.
yeah,
Got to drive.
Well, they're making it out like
someplace
it's a homeless story.
but it's not.
But
It's
they've,
not really.
But they've got an RV.
Yeah, so drive it somewhere else.
Right.
at least for today.
Seems like actually they're in pretty good shape if they've got an RV. They just don't have a place to.
Well, I saw one story where the couple, I think they retired, sold the house, and took the money, bought an RV, wanted to downsize everything, and just kind of drive around. But they've been down there for a month,
Right.
down there at Home Depot, and I guess they just got sick of it.
Enough
now.
is enough. Buy
Yeah.
something or move on.
Yeah,
Right.
buy a shed
Buy a shed
and
to attach to your
move
camper.
and move along. So all right, so that's what they got to do. So they'll be getting out today. Down in Washington,
In all probability, Joe.
yes.
Probably like the sunrise.
our almost former congressman David Cicilline gave his final speech
Yep,
on the floor yesterday
he did.
and said,
He said so long and thanks for all the fish.
It was been all the fish.
You never saw the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
No, I didn't.
Okay, never mind.
There you go.
Right
I
over
did
my
not
head.
either. Right? You and I both, and we're pretty good at movies.
Yeah, but not that one. He just David Cicilline said it's been an honor of his life to represent the people of the first district of the state of Rhode Island. And so
He also said that he came
what-
to Congress with open eyes, so that he felt like he could go down, and he saw how broken it was, and he wanted to affect change. And
do you think he did?
no, I think changes. I think it ultimately got worse. Not because of him, but just because of the nature of the way politics is these days. It just got worse. And yes, it's nice to think that you as one person could go and affect that change. You can't.
But it's tough.
You can't. It's 530 something other people that are with all their own very strong opinions with massive egos because they all got there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that would be a real big challenge. I give him credit for trying. You know,
And it's funny because everyone that said how many people are running for Congress, Dave? 16.
Well, there's 16 Democrats.
Well, right.
and one Republican they can't find.
There's one Republican to be named later because I don't.
Barrett something or other was the guy's name.
Yeah?
Apparently he registered. Let me see if I can find that story.
But they all say the same thing, just like David Cicilline. I'm going to go down to Congress and I'm going to make sweeping changes. And I'm like,
yeah.
well, no, you're not. Especially
there-
when you're new.
There's one kind of not affiliated. Used to be Republican, I think.
Well,
It
he
changed.
became a Democrat.
Oh, he became. Oh, that's right.
That's
I'm
Waters?
sorry. Right.
Is Waters his
Waters
name?
is that's right.
And he is running.
He's running as a Democrat, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Fat chance
um,
he's getting party money.
that's going to be tough.
Right.
That is going to be real tough right there.
Right.
So keeping it down
Question
in.
here is who is Dave going to vote for?
Ooh, I don't know, Dave.
I'm not talking third person. I'm talking Mr. Cicilline.
Oh, that Dave.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. He won't make.
Well, he probably
If
won't
he's
say.
in the Rhode
Or
Island
has
Foundation, he shouldn't make any statements.
no endorsing of anybody.
I don't think so. Not if you're the CEO of the Rhode Island Foundation. You
Yeah.
shouldn't. I don't think Neil Steinberg ever did.
Okay.
I mean, that's not
So you
supposed to
probably-
be a
so you probably won't-
non-political
Okay.
office. So if you want it to be non-political and you want it to be viewed that way, then
Yes.
you shouldn't make
Shouldn't
any
say
statements.
anything.
Correct.
Okay, so they probably won't then, Dave. All right. But keeping it down in Washington and tying it back to Rhode Island, a North Kingstown man that was down there during the January 6th Capitol riots,
Oh yeah, he gets.
he got 2 months in prison,
Yep.
in federal prison, after he pled guilty to assaulting, resisting, or impeding law enforcement officers and obstructing an official proceeding.
But he wasn't he was a member of the Proud Boys when he did it. But he's not a lifelong member of the Proud Boys, right? I thought that story said he joined so that he could go down to the January 6th rally.
Yeah.
Rally.
His name is Bernard Sirr, S-I-R-R. He read a statement in court asking for forgiveness from his country and from God. And he lost his job at the Rhode Island Atomic Energy Commission because of his stuff. And it's stuff you have
Actions
to
have
remember.
consequences.
You do. And back when back when I worked at CompUSA, we had a guy that was there full time. And so then remember, this goes back to the 90s. And for whatever reason, in Boston, they were having a rally on the Boston Common for the legalization of marijuana. So this was all new
never
kind
happen.
of thing. It'll never happen kind of thing.
Never happen.
But there are all the cannabis people. They're all smoking joints. And there he is, our guy, right on Channel 7 News. I smoke every day, and this is great. Fired the next day.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in. Goodbye.
So crazy.
Well, that was my free time. I know. But
yeah.
nope. That's
Crazy.
He was gone pretty quick. All right, we're going to take a break on the Coffee and program right now. It's time to bring you the forecast. Dave, who's the forecast brought to us by?
By unbound.org. Joe.
Absolutely correct.
Sunny skies today with a high of 76 degrees and a calm wind. Tonight, 80% chance of showers overnight, low of 46, north wind to 22 miles per hour. A quarter of an inch of rain is expected. Thursday's weather, mostly sunny with a high of 66. Friday, sunshine and 70. Saturday, sunshine and 79. Sunday, mostly sunny and 82. The holiday Memorial Day Monday, mostly sunny and 81. And next Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 79.
Currently, outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, sunny skies and 60 degrees. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own. Unbound.org. At the turn of this century, 27% of people who passed away were cremated. By the year 2020, that figure rose to 56%. The Cremation Association of America projects that by the year 2040, 4 out of 5 Americans will choose cremation over a casket burial. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center of Woonsocket can answer your questions about the cremation process. Go online to providencecremation.com. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center on Spring Street, Woonsocket. Let them create the perfect service for your loved one. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hi, this is Gary Smith. Join me for Do You Remember, Tuesday through Friday mornings at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Thanks, Gary. Gary will be on today at 9:30 here on ON. It's Coffee On right now. This is Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and that guy over there, Tim Draper. I was going to say Tim Murray, but no.
Oh, no.
You're not the former Lieutenant Governor of Massachusetts,
I
are
am
you?
not.
Oh, okay.
Not that I was aware of.
All right, very good. Tim, were you surprised with the Celtics' victory last night?
Yes.
So was I.
I thought for sure they were going to get swept.
Yeah.
Now, what crazy is they played so well. Where have they been?
I don't know. That's the big question.
And they're going to,
They just didn't want to lose last night.
I guess not. They didn't want to get swept like the Lakers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
The NBA is really bummed, though, because that would have been a great series. Lakers, Celtics.
Lakers, Celtics would have been
my
great.
God, that would have been a fun series. But,
East Coast, West Coast, that's what they want.
I know.
But they're not going to get it now. Well, actually, it was the Golden State. Is that who won?
Lakers
Denver
beat
Nuggets,
them, right?
Denver
Lakers
Nuggets.
beat the Denver Nuggets, right?
Denver
the Nuggets.
won.
That's the first time they've ever been in
Ever,
a playoff, right?
yes.
Yeah, so that's good for them. And then the Heat. Yeah, I hope the Heat gets beat.
Were they an expansion team, or were they somebody else's team that came to Denver?
They were an expansion
think so.
team.
Okay.
I'm not sure when they came into the league, though. But, yeah.
I feel bad for Joe Mazzulla, who's a local guy, because they're just piling this all at his feet.
Oh, I know they are.
And you know what? Yeah, maybe so. Cut the guy a little slack. It's the first time he's ever been in a playoff series at that level. He was kind of thrust into the role when they fired the other guy.
And now they're talking about firing him.
Oh, they can't fire him. Don't fire him. He just wrote. Carousel of coaching is not good.
But you can't fire the team. You fire the coach.
Right. But the team did so well this whole entire year under his direction.
Yeah, I know.
And then so he needs a little work on the playoffs. You got to start somewhere, man. Bill
Yeah.
Bill Belichick was not great the first time around, I don't believe.
No, he was in Cleveland for a while and
Yeah.
then had a 500 record.
Right.
I think,
I mean, he
when
had
was
he had
there.
some success in the Giants, but he was an assistant coach then. He wasn't the
Yes,
coach.
he wasn't the head coach.
Right. He went to Cleveland, was horrible, and then came to New England and finally figured it out. So you can figure it out.
Hey,
So,
Tim,
so give him time.
Yes, Dave.
All right, give him time.
can we have a first message from Navigant
No.
Credit Union?
No, you
yeah,
can't.
that's right.
Sorry.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave.
I'm happy to do that. I thought he was coming out of commercial to give it to
I
me
got
too, but
to
I
be
wasn't
here
sure.
for some good reason. You know?
You know what, folks? This is really just another PSA. I like to do these because it really is an important reminder for folks about the velocity of fraudulent activity that's out there, of people trying to scam you out of your money. We hear these stories all the time. If we don't have 2 or 3 a week, I'd be shocked. And it's unfortunate, and some people fall for it, and others are skeptical enough, which I keep talking about. Be skeptical about these things, and you know, when somebody comes up and says, "I need to you need to go withdraw $10,000 in cash and put it in a cryptocurrency, and that way I can get it," you know, and then we'll release your son from jail or grandson from jail. You don't believe any of that stuff. It's 100% not
They
accurate.
come up to you and say Jamestown's the most beautiful town in Rhode Island. Just take it with a grain of salt, folks.
Well, we're going to say that Jamestown's pretty nice. But anyway, so, you know, if we ask you questions at Navigant, when you go into a branch and you're looking to take on a massive sum of money that is not normal in your routine of transacting business with us, we are going to ask you questions. We've instructed and trained our staff to ask these questions to try and help us get a better understanding of whether you are putting yourself in a bad spot. And it's very easy to do. It happens to a lot of really smart, good, intelligent people, as much as it does for people who just don't pay attention too much. So anybody can be affected by this. And all we're asking you to do is, if you have any questions about anything that's going on, any people that are asking you to do things you're not supposed to do, if you're concerned about your money, call the credit union, call the contact center, 233-4700, and just ask us if it sounds fishy to us, and we'll let you know if it's one of the scams we've seen. So, and again, navigantcu.org, we have a security and resources center that you can go and look at and kind of read up on a little bit of these scams. But more importantly, 233-4700, you talk to the contact center right over there in beautiful Lincoln, Rhode Island.
All right, Tim. Thank you very
Can
much.
I add on to that, Joe?
If you like, sure.
About bad guys. I mean, bad guys keep doing stuff like
Right.
this, and there's money in it if they get away with it. But even knowing that sometimes you don't get away with it, people still do bad things.
Yeah.
I mean, people still robbing banks.
Right.
I mean, you go back and like, hey, you know, how many people have gone to jail for how long for robbing banks?
Right.
But they still do it. They think they got a better idea or something like that.
Right. They may get out of a building, but they won't get away.
And here's an interesting thing that we just got on the newswire last night, Tim. Attorney General Nerona here in Rhode Island is suing telemarketer Avid Telecom for illegal robocalls. Listen to this. 25 million calls to Rhode Island alone.
So there's a population of 1 million.
Right. And Attorney General Nerona is joining 48 other attorneys general all across the country because it's illegal in all the states. But this company, incredible. And they named the person who's the president and the vice president. They are licensed as a voice over internet protocol. It's a VoIP internet services provider, and they give phone numbers and stuff like that. They also make it they make their services available for those who want to do telemarketing in the wrong way.
That's their job.
Right. And not only was there 25 million calls to Rhode Island out of billions made across the country that the other attorneys general are also doing it for, they are the ones that you've gotten one of these. I think we've all gotten one of these. A Social Security Administration scam, Medicare scam. Oh, have you gotten the one about, well, your auto warranty has just expired? That's these people.
Yep.
Amazon scams, DirecTV scams, credit card interest rate reduction scams, employment scams, all of these things. And 8.4 million calls that were spoofed to appear to be coming from a government or law enforcement agency.
Well, they're spoofed sometimes to come from us. I mean, somebody will get a phone call.
Right.
We've had people call us and say, that came up on my phone as Navigant Credit Union. And we're like, well, it wasn't us. We'll just tell you that flat out. But it's a mess, and you can't really do anything about that.
And
I mean, Arona is. That's very good for him.
it
I'm
also
glad he's
says
doing
the
that.
Attorney General also says we sent them 329 notifications that they were violating the law. 329 notifications. They were violating the law from Rhode Island alone. They blew them off, and now we're suing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Be interesting to see where that goes. I mean, how much money do they have that they can satisfy a settlement with 48 states? And if that's their only business, then. But it's not, though. You said it's a VoIP company, so. All right.
Yeah, they're getting from this business and this business
Right.
and this one.
Right.
Okay. We did have a note that was called in, and back to the NBA. The Denver Nuggets have been in the NBA for 47 years.
And never won anything. And never won
Well,
a
have never
championship.
been to the NBA Finals until now.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. So it's their first.
There's your
it's their-
Cinderella story.
it's
That's
their
what you wanna
first,
see.
That's
it's
a
their
nice human interest
first trip.
story.
Right.
So if you're outside today and you look up and say, "Hey, I thought it was supposed to be sunny. What's with all the haze?" kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's those Canadian wildfires.
Oh, yeah.
What
Are still-
province are they in?
I don't know. Nave, any idea where the
Must be the
those
western part
wildfires
of,
are?
Must be the western part of Canada, like Alberta, Saskatchewan.
The answer to your question is I never looked it up.
Okay.
I can if you want. I mean, they said that there's wildfires in Canada. I didn't need to know exactly where. If you like, I will find out.
Well, when there's a wildfire in the U.S., it's a big story all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they're 24-hour news networks and they're bored.
So
Seriously.
the smoke is in the upper levels of the atmosphere, so that's why I think it's coming from Western Canada. And the smoke is going to linger today, and it's going to be pushed out. There is another, the rain's coming, a little rain's coming tonight, so that's going to push it out. So it should all be gone by tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So in case you're wondering,
Setting up for a beautiful weekend, though, right? Nice
that's
Memorial Day
that's what
weekend.
it looks like. Yeah, very nice. So if you're
It's affecting Connecticut.
the smoke,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
There's pictures of it.
They showed a sunset or a sunrise yesterday on one of the news reports from a picture from one of the viewers, and very pretty sun.
yeah,
Sunset.
through the
yeah.
haze.
Right, through the haze. It looked great.
All right, well,
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg.
Okay, well that's kind of
Way out there.
Central West. Yeah, okay,
That's just north of North Dakota and Montana.
okay.
Lots of planes.
So if you're out there,
And portions of Minnesota.
yeah. Oh, they got the fires too.
Yeah, portions of
The northern
Minnesota.
part?
Most of Minnesota borders Ontario,
Yeah.
but portion does Manitoba.
So those crazy Russians are at it again.
Mm-hmm.
They've added Maura Healey to the Americans who are not welcome to visit their country.
Oh, well, you know, she is a
Maura
troublemaker.
Healy, say it ain't so.
She is a troublemaker.
It is so yes.
Say it ain't so, comrade.
She joins other former other Massachusetts people: Charlie Baker, Mitt Romney, Congressman Jim McGovern, Boston Mayor Marty Walsh, and multiple Harvard professors.
Listen, what do I
cannot
have to
go to that country.
What do I have to do to get on that list?
I don't know.
I don't want to go to Russia.
It doesn't say how to get on.
Oh, okay. It just says that you're on.
You're just on it. You're not welcome to enter.
All right. Well, do you think she had a trip planned?
I don't think so.
Heading over to St. Petersburg for a little R&R? I don't think so.
There's 500 new members to the group. She just happens to be one. Happens to be one of
elite
them.
group.
Yeah, and I guess once you're on it, you're on it for life. You never come off that list.
Like, kind of like the TSA no-fly list.
Kind of like that.
right.
And I don't know if she said something publicly about the war, which is
Probably
what she said, and how
probably what happened.
Russia's bad.
Yeah.
And Ukraine good kind of thing. And so we're gonna all right, we're gonna stick you on the list. So there you go. That's where you're gonna come out. Navigant's gonna release a statement.
Oh no.
Saying
Navigant does not get involved in politics.
well, this is war.
We don't like war. War
You're
bad.
against a war bad.
War bad. That's the statement. War is bad.
Well, if you come out and say Russia bad, they'll get
Well, we're
put
not
on
gonna-
no enter the zone
I
there.
do that personally, but not on behalf of the credit union.
Oh, all right then. All right, Tim, it's time for a second message from Navigate Credit Union. I'm going to get it on time this time.
All right, good. Well, thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate your promptness. Simply going to talk about our Embark checking, or our Embark account. Acts like a checking account.
Yeah, we have a new spot on there for a young lad that did that spot for you, right?
Right, you do.
Yeah.
It's all about the self-made teen. It's about giving teenagers and young folks the ability to manage their own money, learn how to manage their own money, with the assistance of an adult, either their parents, their guardians, whomever, somebody that they respect. Can help open that account for those folks, and they're going to get a debit card. They're going to get access to online banking. You're going to get mobile banking. When you turn 18, you're actually going to be able to pay bills using the account. So there's a number of features of the account that are teaching young folks how to use their money correctly, and we always espouse to that 50-50 rule, and there's versions of it, but if you get an allowance, you should put 50% into your savings account, and then you can spend the other 50% any way you think you would like to spend it. But there's always that emphasis on savings, and that's an important message out there for young folks, because I remember as a kid, the money would be in my hand and it would be spent the next day.
Magically.
As an adult, it's hard because it's almost that way now too. So you always want to try to save for a rainy day, as they say. But the Embark account will help you do that. And we hope that if you're a parent and you're listening, let's get your kids signed up, your young person signed up, so that you can teach them good financial habits. And if you're a young person listening, then ask your parents to take you down to Navigate Credit Union at 1280 Park Avenue and see Christian and the team down there and open up the Embark account for the self-made teen.
Very good, Tim. More of the Coffee and program coming your way. Please stick around. For home-style cooked meals, you'll always be happy you decided to stop into Missy's Family Restaurant. They're open 7 days a week at 7 a.m. Breakfast is served all day. Great food, tasty food, with large portions is what you'll find at Missy's Family Restaurant. From juicy burgers and crispy fries to satisfying pasta dishes and fresh seafood. Bring your loved ones, enjoy a meal that will leave you feeling happy and satisfied. Missy's Family Restaurant, 801 Clinton Street, Woonsocket. Come on down and taste the difference.
Attention bike riders. The premier event of this young season is being organized for June 3rd. It's the first annual Veterans Charity Motorcycle Run, brought to you by New Englanders Helping Our Veterans in collaboration with the Elks Riders of Elks Lodge number 2136 in Franklin. The ride starts and ends at the Franklin Elks Lodge and travels through Rhode Island as well. Food will be served upon return and beverages will be available. Only $25 per operator, $10 per rider. To sign up, email treasurer@nehov.org. That's treasurer@nehov.org. All are welcome.
It is Coffee In on ON, AM, and FM. Joe Callahan here with Tim Draper and Dave Richards. Melissa had to leave early, and John's not going to be with us for a couple of weeks.
You know, I come back and everybody leaves.
I know.
Feel really bad about that. Like, what happened?
What's it say about you, Tim?
I know. It says nasty things about it.
All right, Tim, does this affect you or not? The days of Netflix subscribers sharing their passwords coming to an end.
Oh, yeah. It affects.
It affects you?
Actually, it affects my wife.
All right.
Me.
Have you heard about this?
I have.
Oh,
We're
okay.
well aware that this is coming on. I don't think it's affected us yet.
Not yet?
It's coming.
Well, Netflix started emailing customers on Tuesday
Yep.
about their new password policy. And they say the email will be sent to members in the United States who have been sharing their account outside their household.
Right. So let's streaming television. And Dave, we've talked about this before, right? So the streaming services have basically sucked you in
Yeah.
to get their stuff. And as consumers, if there's no structure around it, my kids are getting this streaming service, and then we all share the password.
Yep.
I get that streaming service, and they all share the password. So we're all able to commingle our streaming services, and
Yep.
we get to watch all the great things that we want to watch. Netflix has finally figured that out and said, you can't share your password anymore.
Well, they're giving you two options.
Right. You pay more and share it, right?
Well, it says transfer a profile to a new membership or share an account with someone outside their household for another $8 a month.
So
See, you have to destroy the old account.
Right.
So that you can go with two-factor identification
Right.
plus IP identification, and you'll end up getting a new account for that.
Correct.
So it'll still be you, but you take your profile. Now you have a new account that has all the extra security in it, so you can't share it successfully.
right.
Or
You could say, I want to share it with Meme.
Yeah.
And
that's
pay an
my
extra
question.
$8 and give Meme the password. Now 2 people can use the same account
So
that aren't in the same household.
So it's
If
same household.
They say
It's
that if you're in
immediate
this,
family member.
now I know, because I'm a technical guy, I know what kind of a problem this can be. But they say that if you are all in the same household,
Mm-hmm.
same IP address, right, then you can have 3 or 4 or 5 different people doing it.
So
Doesn't matter, but because you're in the same household.
But what happens if you have one of those services that changes IP addresses as a matter of security? So one day it's in Bedford, New Hampshire. The next day it's in Newark, Connecticut. And another day it's in Providence. Another day it's in Boston. So your internet traffic from your house is going out every day to a different
Yeah.
hub.
That's NordVPN and the rest
Right.
of them. That's how they do it.
Right. So
The
how
cable
does-
companies used to
so
just
how do- if-
refresh your IP address every few days anyway.
Right. So if you are going based on your IP address,
Right.
that's what they're storing in their system to determine that it's you at your house. What do you do when it changes the IP address? Do they-
Scream. Email customer service.
So I'm wondering if
and
that's going
pray.
to either shut you down or there's going to be a.
Oh, don't worry about it.
They figured it out, right? That's
They've
probably
reached
what-
critical mass, so they can lose 30% of their subscribers and still do very nicely. Thank you.
Well, when you think about it, 200 million subscribers in Netflix around the world.
No, there aren't.
Well,
Okay. Oh, you don't go by published reports. People lie. I mean, that's the
Well,
stuff that they
understand-
tell
no,
NASDAQ and the rest
so
of
let's
that.
say it's 100 million, and you're paying $20 a month. That's
And they
a
do the math.
ton of money you're making as
Yes.
Netflix. So you're right.
Right.
You can just
You could lose some
right lose some, not care.
and be okay.
Once you reach critical mass, you can afford to tick off anybody.
Well, I guess that's
Take a look
true.
at Ford.
Right. Take a look at,
That's right. The big story was the AM radios were coming out of Ford vehicles.
oh yeah, no, I heard that.
and
whole
then they came
conversa-
back
right.
and
Yeah.
pulled back
No.
on it.
Yeah,
Said,
it's like,
oh, okay,
oh, maybe we're
we'll
not.
keep them in there.
People have been stopping me in the street saying, "Dave, what do you think about this?" It's just noise. It's
Yeah.
just noise. Come on, get it over with.
Yeah, no, I'd heard that story. I heard you guys talking about it.
Get off my
Yeah.
left foot. Jeez.
But you got to worry about Ford's an American company. You got to worry about the Honda and Toyota and Mitsubishi.
They may
and
not care
Kia.
if Congress passes a law.
They might not.
Maybe it's not Congress that wants
Oh
to
no, but there's a law already established in Congress.
to remove AM radio.
No.
No.
Oh, to
To
keep
keep
AM
it.
To
radio.
keep. No, the law says that all cars sold in the United States have to have AM and FM radio.
Yeah.
Now, that's what the law says. And of course, Ford doesn't, and the rest of the manufacturers, they don't want to see that become a law. So Ford just gulped and says, okay, well, listen, we're going to be embarrassed. We'll just turn tail and run. Hopefully, it takes all of the urgency out of the move
Yeah.
to pass that law, and maybe the law won't be passed because we capitulated. So there's no target for it.
Yeah.
But they still have Volkswagen and Mercedes and
Right.
Tesla and the rest of them. So it will still move forward, perhaps with less urgency, but it'll still move forward. And it's just billionaires fighting with other billionaires. Relax, take it easy. I had an advertiser ask me about it yesterday. I was making a sales call, and I just had to explain to him, just relax, take a breath, relax. Look at me. Do I worry? No, I'm not worried. Give me a break.
What
because-
about Dave? What about like Tesla, which just only offers the electric vehicles?
Yeah.
Is that going? Are they doing anything to
For
cut down on the noise?
Do you know how much a Tesla costs?
$40,000
For $400, they can fix it so that their regenerative motors don't interfere with AM radio.
We'll just pass that out to the customer.
But they don't want to, because you try to save every nickel on every component and trim your designs so that they can make the most money. I get it. That's the American way, but that's what it would cost them to design in the fix
So-
in their cars, but nobody's making them do it, Joe.
Not yet.
If the United States government passes the law and makes them do it, it's only going to cost another $400 or so.
So let me ask you. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that because I don't own a Tesla. But so they don't have AM radios because the regenerative braking process, the recharging of the battery, interferes with the AM signal.
No, they do have them. The radios.
No. Tesla does not have AM radios. They stopped that some years
Oh,
back.
okay.
But what people don't get is that the same thing that affects the AM radios is affecting the range of the FM radios. You don't hear it right away, but your FM radio station is going to be heard noise-free less far away because it's making broadcast band noise. The FCC has had laws for years governing making noise on the AM band without a license. And they're all the Part 15 laws. And they could have stopped at any time, and they chose not to. The FCC now is looking at losing tens of millions of dollars a year if AM radio stations have to shut off.
Yeah.
or can't be viable anymore. And so the FCC is starting to say things like they did last month at their national convention in Las Vegas. A commissioner stood up in front of a group of attendees and says, "Oh yeah, we got laws for this. Don't worry, we're going to get on it." And
Always
then-
comes down to money.
Right.
Tim.
And-
Always comes down to money,
And then
man.
Congress says,
Always.
"What about you, FEMA? What about you?" Because they raised the whole thing about so many AM radio stations would be silent and they wouldn't be there when the big one drops to put on the EAS. Or, for wildfires or earthquakes
Hurricanes.
or hurricanes. Well, the fact is that even a bad snow or ice storm, your FM stations are going to go off. Bang. The AM stations can continue to operate through much more adversity than any FM station. And it's because of the way the antennas are built.
Okay.
Interesting.
So I assure you, friends and neighbors, 1240 will be here for a long time.
All right. So we had the murder down in Portsmouth with a guy, allegedly hits his landlord with an axe.
Right.
And you can kind of understand, well, I'm being evicted. I'm really upset. I'm really emotional about it. And so that's why it happens. But now we got this story out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, gosh.
And a Louisville man, he's being accused. He shot his roommate because he's saying his roommate ate his last Hot Pocket.
Well, listen, I hate that when that happens. I'm not sure I would
but you can
kill
always
somebody for it.
you
But
can always run down to Stop and Shop and
Kroger's.
get some more.
people in the world these days are just out of control.
Yeah,
Just out of control. Just too much anger, too much hate, too much everything.
64-year-old Clifton Williams
That's been building up for a while. In old
shot
Clifton,
his
man.
roommate. And they say, according to officials. But first, after he found out his Hot Pocket, and they are delicious, by the way, first started throwing tiles at his roommate.
So he first threw tiles,
And then he
shot.
went and got a gun and shot him.
So the tiles weren't effective enough.
I guess not. Maybe he was missing. Maybe he's not
Maybe.
a good.
We had the
arm.
situation right here in Woonsocket this past weekend. Where quit fighting with your brother. Quit fighting with your brother.
Yeah, but
Here,
that's,
bang.
that's a father and their son. These are two
No,
adults.
that was an uncle, I think.
Oh well, but I mean, adult and a
was that
child.
Was
The
that the
kids
air
were the
gun
offspring
that-
of the
yeah.
cousin,
yeah,
the female cousin of the guy who fired.
yeah, but that was adults versus.
But they were
children.
living in the same house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are just two adult.
And also,
roommates.
it was a spring-loaded pellet gun and it's a plastic pellet. Okay, we get that. But it's the attitude. You were
intent
talking
was
about
the
the
same.
tension,
Right.
the attitude, how
The
people
first
are
thing that
taking
you
out
do
their
is you just grab a
frustrations.
gun and of whatever kind.
Why
and
is
just
that the
bang.
first inkling or
Right.
second?
Why
in
wouldn't
this
it be like
case?
take one kid outside in the backyard and leave the other one in the house and separate them for a little while?
Well, that's using logic, Tim.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
yeah,
I didn't
I
mean to do
mean,
that.
they're 7 and 3. You
Put
know,
them in different rooms. Shut their doors.
they won't fight.
They can't.
That's right.
But leaving them in the same room to fight and just telling them to stop it, they're not going to stop it because they're kids.
It's funny because I saw I think it's a commercial for Amazon, which was similar to this, where the two. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh,
where
I did when they bought the tents?
Yeah, the two
Yeah.
siblings are fighting.
Yeah.
They're about 8 and 7.
Right.
And so the mom decides to buy them tents
I'm not quite sure what
to
that
put
was all
over their
about, but-
separate beds, and then they get along. I'm like,
Right, well,
really?
Must have been fighting about the beds, I guess. I don't know, but it
I don't know.
was
They
a
each
little
got-
unclear in the,
It is,
in the ad.
and they each get their own
I wanted the blue
flashlights.
tent. No, I wanted the blue tent.
And they flash them through the tent. You can see the stars on the ceiling, and
Yeah.
everybody's happy, joy,
Right.
joy,
Because of Amazon.
because of Amazon. I'm like, boy, the connection from one to the other. I don't know. That's a tough one,
Right, that's a stretch. That's
is.
that's an agency trying to be super creative.
Because I would thought that the kids would go, "Oh, I want that tent. Why does he
Right.
get the good tent?"
Right. Buy them the same tent, and you each have one. You can live in your own space.
But they're two different tents, aren't they?
I don't know. I didn't notice that much.
Watch next time.
All right.
the whole thing's too intense for me.
It is very
Too
intense.
intense.
Good, good
Dave's
one.
here all
Good
week.
one,
Try
Dave.
the
He is all try the veal. All right, so it all comes down to if you don't eat your roommate's last Hot Pocket, he's
You won't get
probably
shot.
he's probably saving
You
it.
wouldn't eat anybody's last food.
Well, it's funny. We go to
You're
the
not
cafeteria, and
supposed to.
sometimes people will actually label their lunch boxes. This is so and so's lunchbox. This is so and so's
yeah.
meal.
When I worked in the corporate world like that, I absolutely refused to put my lunchbox in the refrigerator, just because of that.
Yeah, I keep mine in my
Left it at
office,
my desk
because I'm
so-
lazy to go to the kitchen.
Well,
That's
and,
the reality of it.
And the only time I opened up the refrigerator, well, that's where the cream was.
Right.
And so, and I saw different people, leave this alone, or this is
Right.
mine, or this belongs to so and so. It's like, okay, so it must be happening here too. And I just, I don't understand taking someone else's lunch, because how do you know what it is?
Right.
It could be something
No,
you're
if
allergic
hungry,
to.
you're hungry. You could go
I know,
to the
but
vending
you-
machine and grab a Pop-Tart. That's what I would do.
That would be delicious. But and you read that stories online. They decide to make the jalapeno peppers with hot mustard, and that's the sandwich. And next you know, someone's screaming down the hallway, trying to get to the water. Okay, you won't do that again. All right, we've come to the end of the program. We thank you for listening in. As always, we hope we a little entertainment for you this morning. We thank Melissa Smith for coming in today. Dave
Giving
Richards,
us the story behind the story on the
Taylor
Taylor,
Swift.
concert.
That's right. She
Right,
really enjoyed
right.
herself.
She did.
Dave, thanks for being here with us today.
Hey, it's great filling in with the good friends.
All right, Tim Draper, thanks for coming in.
Joe, thanks for having me, and everybody out there, enjoy the God-given day.
Very good. This is Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember at 9:30 on ON Radio?
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.
Hello, this is Valerie Gonzalez, Vice President of the Woonsocket City Council.